Okay.
All right.
You just kind of look at me, then you'll look conversational on television that way.
Mm-hmm.
The sports guys only got a couple of questions for you.
Okay.
First, if you could, though, just for the producer or the editor, say and spell your first and last name for me.
Robert Irons, Robbie Irons, Robbie Irons.
What position did you play and what years did you play?
Oh, gosh. I played 1967 through 1981.
Okay.
12 seasons.
And what was the position that you played?
I played goalie.
Played goalie. All right.
Are you asking these questions now, or are we going in?
No, actually,
Okay.
just a couple of those little cores
Okay.
so they have it all right. And I'm sure
Yeah.
Dean and Tommy, they're going to know these things. Well, the first question was, what do you miss most about those playing days?
What do I miss? What do I miss most about the playing days? I miss being young again. That's what I miss right now. But the camaraderie, the teammates, the challenge. Every year was a new year. It was a type of season, where you get new kids coming in. And as I played more years, it just seemed that I was a veteran. And it was good to see these young, aggressive kids come in and build a team and see where we went from the start of the season to the end of the season with success.
What is your favorite story of your playing days?
I got to think of this now. Well, I think the years that we won the Turner Cup, obviously with Mark Boyle as coach, I think that year was great. It was either the year before, I did not have a good year. The team played well. We made the playoffs, and I wasn't playing a lot. But the next year we came back. Don Atchison was a rookie goaltender, came in, and we had a real good season that year. We took a spurt at the end of the season, and everything fell together. Unfortunately, I was hurt in the playoffs, but I got to play the first game, and we went on to win the Turner Cup that year.
Excellent. What made you stay in Fort Wayne after you were done playing?
Well, I had an elbow injury when I first came here from playing baseball during the summer, and I was owned by the New York Rangers at the time, and they knew Ken Elliott, the general manager and owner, and they contacted him when I was ready to play. So they sent me here in about November, and I was actually only 20 years old when I came in. But my first thing was, of course, the caliber of hockey, the Coliseum, and the people. I was not married at the time, and when I went home that summer, I told my fiance about the people down there, Teddy Wrights and Norm Waslowskis, and their families, and how they were bringing up a family and everything like that. So fortunately, I had a chance to go to St. Louis and Kansas City for about 2.5 years. But then when that contract ended, I came back here and finished that season out, and my wife was with me at that time.
Okay. The next one question is, what makes the Komet organization different from the others?
Well, I think tradition. As I say, we have at least 50 old-timers that stick around and stay here. It's a great opportunity for a young guy. He plays the caliber, a big arena, big crowds. The scouts come in and watch you, so you're able to show your stuff that way. And then, of course, if it doesn't work out from the hockey standpoint, there's a lot of job opportunities for the hockey players. I was fortunate to get in with Pepsi-Cola. I know other people got in with the beer companies, Elco, and the insurance companies. So there was a lot of opportunities after your hockey career was over. And I think it proves that when you've got about 60 guys still sticking around Fort Wayne.
Excellent. The next question is, what are you up to now?
Well, I'm retired from Pepsi-Cola. I'm enjoying myself. I play a little bit of golf 2 or 3 times a week. Don't ever think that the golden ages are great, because you find out the aches and pains you have. But I'm enjoying myself, and things are good. 3 grandchildren, and enjoying them quite a bit.
Last few questions here. If there was one moment as a Komet player that really sticks out in your mind for yourself, what was that one moment?
I'm sorry, repeat.
Like a moment, a certain moment maybe that really sticks out in your mind as one of those more important moments.
One of the fun years that we really had was the year we had when Greg Pilling was here. And he was a character in his own. He was a young, aggressive coach. And of course, I was about 32 years old. We had a couple of young players, another young goaltender, and he liked to keep everything loose and moving at a quick pace. And a couple of games, one game he alternated us in Saginaw back and forth every other shift, which I didn't know what was going on, but it worked out great. And then another time he changed goalies on the fly. So there was a couple of incidents there that I had never experienced before. And fortunately, they worked out for the best for us, and it was a quite experience.
Do you have a least favorite moment?
Oh, yeah, the years we lose. Missing the playoffs was awful tough. You worked so hard all the way through the season, and especially, if you were able to get through injury-free, you're beat up a bit, but you're always looking to play in the playoffs and then to, pick it up a bit. And I think we missed the playoffs when I was here about 4 times, and they were probably the most disappointing times of my Comet career.
I guess the last question they have is if you could kind of sum it all up in a sentence or two, your career and what it meant to you, kind of try to sum it up in a sentence or two.
Well, I've had people ask me would I like to do it again, and my first reaction is, yeah, I'd like to be 25 again, but that's not going to happen. But yeah, I would not trade any moments for it. I'm reading books right now on different NHL players and hockey players that have played, and it's very similar, their lifestyle to a Comet hockey player lifestyle. How they grew up, their fathers built them ice rinks in the backyard. They skated in the backyard. They went through the minor hockey, skated and played outside. So there was a lot of things and the similarities in all hockey players, and I think that's the thing that I take with me quite a bit now.
All right, anything else you want to add?
No.
All right, perfect.
Okay.
Excellent, that's good. Okay, even though I'm sure they know, if you could, just say and spell your first and last name for me.
Stephen Fletcher. And spell it?
Sure. Not that they shouldn't know by now, but you never know who sometimes puts some of this stuff together. And what position did you play and what years did you play?
I came here and I played defense and left wing. And my first year I came here was a half a season. I was 20 and it was 82, 83, I think it was.
Okay. Well, we got a couple of questions for you. First is, what do you miss most about your playing days?
I think just hanging with the guys, camaraderie, everything like that. It becomes part of your life, and all of a sudden it's gone. It's like, okay, it's a little different, But I think that's probably the hardest thing. My last couple of years, my first couple of years when I retired, didn't know what to do with myself.
Okay. What is one of your favorite stories during your playing days?
Favorite stories? Oh, there's quite a few of them. Some good stories. I think winning the cups. That's something. It's unbelievable. When you win the cups, it's hard to say. It's overwhelming because you say, "Wow, we won the cup." Because you're playing. You start from day one training camp, and you want to get right to the end of the top level right there. And once you win a cup, it's a great feeling. You lose those, it's not. Because I've also been in the finals and lost at the 7th game, and that's opposite end of the coin. It's not fun.
I'm going to adjust your microphone really quick. It's just so it doesn't rub on this part right there. Okay. Why are you still here in Fort Wayne even after your playing days?
I don't know. It must have been on the contract because I married a girl from here. There's many guys that married women from Fort Wayne, and I ended up my wife's from here, and you just end up staying. Because I was here in '82, like I said, and '82, '83, and I came back in '90, and never thought I'd end up staying here.
Okay.
It happens. I married him.
It happens about like 50 or 60 of you guys, you know?
Quite a
I was
few.
talking to Robbie. What makes the Comet organization different than those other organizations?
We, and I've been here on a lot of different separate occasions there. It was just, I don't know, you felt like you were at home. That's how I felt. I felt very at ease in Fort Wayne, and I felt like I was at home. And everybody seemed to gel. Everybody pretty much got along. You're gonna always have a, you know, but no, everybody gelled coming here. Wanted to play. The fans, good fans. That helps a lot too, you know. And it was just at the time. I wish we would have had a barn as big as it is now. We would have filled that baby up too, because we had a good time doing it. And I thank the fans for their to cooperate with us. You know, we started rough, and all of a sudden we started having a good team, and
Fans stay behind you, that's for
oh,
sure.
that helps.
What are you up to now?
Married, 3 kids. I won't say the ages because my age pops out right there. No, I have a 20, she's going to be 28, 20, and 14-year-old. Wow, I'm feeling old.
I got a teenage daughter too, I got you there, man. And that probably obviously keeps you pretty busy, especially the 14-year-old.
Oh, not bad.
Yeah.
Just sports-wise, not. So.
If you could come down to one moment as a Comet player that really sticks out in your mind, what's that one moment?
Probably, I don't know. See, it's such that's a hard. Sticks up in my mind.
That one favorite moment.
Doing what we did in the playoffs. Just the ride, the wave we took, and it was perfect. I mean, that's probably it.
I can understand that for sure. On the other side of the coin, they said, then, is there one of those unfavorite moments, just one of those one that sticks out in your mind?
Yeah, what year was that when we lost against Atlanta?
Well, I'm not
And
sure.
they ended up winning the cup.
That hurt worse than yeah.
Those are like the good, the bad, and the ugly. You know, you have it all.
And the last question is, if you can kind of sum it up in a sentence or two, how it all changed your life and how big it was a part of your life and all.
Well, I met a lot of good people. Look, I stayed in Fort Wayne, so a lot of family in Fort Wayne from my wife's side, and I had a great place to stay. And we have how many players, like in the 60s, that could say the same thing, so there's a reason.
For sure. Unless you got anything else you want to add or say.
Well, I
that's
just
all
want to
quick.
thank everybody. A lot of good people I've met in Fort Wayne, and I think that's what keeps us here too.
Excellent, man. Thanks for taking a moment out for me. I
Yeah,
really
no problem.
appreciate it. Let me get you yellow in focus here. All right, Guy. Then we got a couple questions for you.
Nice.
First one is, what do you miss most about the playing days?
Probably winning, scoring goals, the excitement of playoff hockey, winning playoff rounds, winning the cup eventually. So that's what I miss most about playing.
Okay. If you could come up with one story that might be your favorite story of your playing days, what would that one story be?
Ooh, off the cuff. Oh. Off the cuff, I would have to say probably. Can you stop that?
Yeah, totally.
Let me. Yeah, I'll just go with one.
Okay. Okay, yeah, one of those favorite stories.
Probably stories or one of my favorite moments would be. It has to be the triple overtime Turner Cup victory we had in 2000, I believe 2008
8 against Port Huron, and it went triple overtime, 12:40 or whatever in the morning, and we scored a goal. It was super exciting. It was about time it ended, because once we scored a goal, when Hodgman scored a goal, I jumped in the air and both my legs cramped. So I was at the brinks of, at least my legs were at the brinks of failure. So I was happy that we ended that with that goal, that night with that goal. So.
For sure, I was there that night. That was a great night. What makes a Komet organization different than other organizations?
It definitely starts with the fan base. You know, there's definitely 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 people that care about the team, care about hockey, hardcore, and you know, they'll let you know as a player when you're playing. They'll let you know if you're playing well or if you're playing bad every given night. So, you know, for me, it was really exciting to know that, you know, if I give my heart out, give everything I got, they're going to appreciate that. And I knew if I had a bad night, that I was probably going to hear it also. So it keeps you on your toes either side, either way.
For sure. What are you up to now?
Now I sell car and truck parts.
Okay.
So that's what I do for a living. So all over the United States and Canada.
Neat. Kind of on the same as your favorite story, you talked about maybe your favorite moment. Is there, besides that moment, you know, hosting the cup, or one of those moments that you just almost comes up into your mind before any other moment?
When you think about hockey, well, one of the moments or the time that I thought we defied all odds was in 92-93 when we won my first Turner Cup against San Diego. It just seemed like nobody in the league gave us a chance to win, and you know, they were heavily favored, San Diego Gulls, and we ended up beating them 4-0. To me, that stands, you know, that all things are possible, you know, and in sports, even though the odds are against you, if you put 15, 20 guys that believe and give everything they got, many things are possible.
Is there, on the kind of opposite note, is there one of those least favorite moments where you felt the loss, or a playoff loss, or one of those least favorite moments that sticks out in your mind?
I'd probably have to say one year it might have been 96, 97, or at least close to those years. One year we played one game series against Kalamazoo to see who's going to play in the playoffs, and we lost that one game. We did not make the playoffs, and that was pretty tough. You know, all the other years, at least we did pretty good in the playoffs, and to not make the playoffs and to lose that one game, we still had hope to beat Kalamazoo that one game and go on to the playoffs and you know, try our luck in the playoffs. But after losing the one game, it's like it's all over, you know. So, and then we didn't make it that year. So.
Okay, last question is, if you kind of sum up your Komet experience and everything in a sentence or two, kind of put a summary sentence together, if you could, of what it's all been to you.
Oh, it's been fun. It's been exciting. It's been challenging. You know, great memories, and you know, I'm gonna have those great memories for the rest of my life. You know, to cherish, and not only that, but met so many interesting and great friendly people in town here that I keep seeing at the games or wherever. So definitely a great experience that I'll cherish the rest of my life.
Awesome. Thank you for taking a moment out for.
Good for you. That's good. Yeah. It's.
Well, just for the producers or whoever puts this all together, could you say and spell your first and last name for me?
Eddie, Eddie, Long, Long.
And what years and position did you play?
I was here 52 to 66 and played right wing.
All right. What do you miss most about those playing days?
I think the camaraderie of the players that you meet, and you have them, for a lifetime, basically. And then it's the guy. See, I was just telling a young man there that's going to try out for the Komets. Back in the 50s, there's only 40 teams in all of hockey. So there's only 6 teams in the NHL. So now there's 30 teams alone in the NHL. So really, the fans, you got to know the fans really good too, like that. And I just miss but when you get older, you got to realize I still play for fun. I'm 81 years old, and I still get in the ice about 15 times a year. So
that's awesome. If you had a favorite story that you tell about your days playing, what in a shorter version, what's one of those favorite stories you tell?
Well, this one was in Milwaukee, okay, and I'm a blonde-haired kid, look like I'm 15, not 19 years old. So I'm going in the entrance door, and the usher said, "No, you can't come in here. We were told we had to look for a guy with blonde hair who was going to try to sneak in here." I said, "I'm with the team." So anyways, I look around the corner, and there's the coach. He's laughing like heck. So this is the short version of the story in Milwaukee. And by the way, I got in the first fight that the Komets ever had that night, too.
That was your night. What has made you stay in Fort Wayne after all these years of...
Well, I fell in love and met my wife, which is the best thing that ever happened to me in hockey. And we've been married 58 years, the end of June this year. 6 children, 12 grandchildren, 5 great-grandchildren, and we had 4 generations on the ice 2 years ago. So our son and a grandson and then a great-grandson. So Fort Wayne is a great city. The Frankies have done an excellent job of being owners. The coverage has been well. I mean, you couldn't play in a better facility than here. I mean, this is 62 years old, this Allen Moore Memorial Coliseum. So it's just an all-around thing. I think we have 70 to 80 guys that make their home here. So it just speaks well of the people. The fans make you who you are. You don't make the fans who they are.
Like that. And on that kind of note, what makes this organization different than others?
They participate in the community. Michael and David are out delivering season tickets to where I work still part-time, and they're out there. Pittsburgh does the same thing with Sidney Crosby. They go and they make the people feel. Whoever thought of the sweaters that you could buy a sweater and be part, when they didn't have that when I played, but make the people feel part. Now I like Indianapolis coming in. Now you got Kalamazoo, and you got Toledo, you got Cincy, which is nice. Evansville, which used to be Muskegon. So you really got people get on the bus and be part of the team. And this is very important. That's why the tough thing about it is, the guys don't stay here like that. No, Shrocky's from here, so he stayed here like that too. And then Chalk and Guy Dupuis, and so Guy and I were tied for seasons, and then he beat my record of games 3 years ago. But I think it's just the all-around effort of the whole community.
What are you up to now?
What am I up to now? I'm still working at Alco Distributing Company. I've been there 57 years. I work 3 days a week. Just like I told you, I give tours out of Channel 21 like that too, and then I work out at the place, the Summit City Fitness. I'm not trying to give them a plug. I'm just saying as I get to do that. So I've been very fortunate to have that and to stay here like that too, and then meet people like yourself. We just got talking about different things. So I think it's just all around. I look at what the community is and not how much money you're going to make, really. This is important. So I feel very, very fortunate that I've been here in Fort Wayne.
If there was a moment as a player, a trophy moment, or one of those moments that sticks out in your mind, which one of those moments is it?
First Turner Cup. I mean, it's got to be. I mean, the cup was only, that big. Now it's like that. No, the first Turner Cup when we beat Minneapolis Millers, skated around the ice was, and it took us, I think it was close to 10 years before we won, because we claimed close in 59-60 when St. Paul beat us in 7 games here, and then Louisville 58-59. So with the cup, going around with the cup, and you're seeing the people. I mean, I think it was on a
weeknight game, we probably had close to 5,000 people, and so you know, really, it's the whole thing. And look at the guys we have. Lenny Thornton, the all-time leader in points. Lenny had 1,300 points plus. I had 900 points plus. And so here we are. We're two of us talking close to 2,400 points. Then you got a guy like Chalker, a guy like Dupuy, and then a guy like Fletch, and Robbie Arns, you know, Nick Boucher. I mean, see, these guys stay here. There's a young guy, Bush staying here like that too, getting jobs, and Nick works for, you know. So the guy, there's something that really it makes you want to stay here, because I think it's a great community. In fact, I asked a person, the doctor, why he chose Fort Wayne. He said it's a great family city. So this is speaking for the people. I mean, we got very excellent fans here like that too, and a beautiful Coliseum, like I said, War Memorial Coliseum.
The last kind of question they had basically was, if you could sum it up in a sentence or two, the Comet aura, what it's all been a part of your life, just in a sentence or two, how do you sum up your Comet career?
My dreams have been fulfilled. I've always wanted to be a hockey player ever since I was a little boy. Went to high school, and I used to tell the teachers, if Latin's going to help me score more goals, then I'll study Latin harder. But this is, you know, no, I think if you dream, and, you know, it would have been nice to have a tryout for the NHL, but there's only 6 teams. But I mean, just anybody that has a dream, whether they're going to be a musician or better, you know, be a doctor, et cetera, et cetera. And my dream was to be a hockey player, and my dreams have been fulfilled many, many times.
Anything you want to add, or anything we're missing?
I think it's just a compliment, again, like I said, to the fans here like that too. We've got people that have season tickets for years. What the community does, your job, and what Tommy does, Channel 15 does, what the sports writer do, like, and Blake's been around, and Justin, and so I think it's just a combination of everything like that too, and that you know makes the people wanna stay here and do it like that too, and that. So, no, I think it's just the, you know, how many people get the opportunity to play in Fort Wayne? So we feel very fortunate. Here's one of the oldest franchises in any sport, 62 years old. That's tremendous like that too, and that. So it's just a great feeling all around like that too. And then we have the guys out here today like that. So guys from generations of 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s. So not too many cities can compete with Fort Wayne. If they took a survey per population and how many guys have made their home here, I think Fort Wayne would be in a top 10.
For sure. All right. Thank you for taking a moment out
Yeah.
for me.
Sure, you're welcome.
Good.
Appreciate it. I'll take that microphone off.
Yeah.
Free to go for now.
Okay. Okay.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you, buddy.
All right. Appreciate it.
Minutes. All right. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, looking good. Just for the editor or the producer or something, say and spell your first and last name.
Spell my first and last name.
Yes.
N-I-C-K. Boucher. B-O-U-C-H-E-R.
And your title or position in the years you played.
I began in the fall of 2007 and played all the way up until the spring of 2012, and position was goal.
Okay. What do you miss about those playing days the most?
A pretty easy answer. I think most guys that stop playing will pretty much across the board say that they miss being around their teammates and their friends. You know, you don't like road trips, but just the atmosphere going on the road and just the camaraderie, pretty much what I miss the most.
Okay. You can kind of look at me, then you'll look kind of conversational on the
Yeah.
camera. Like, second question, kind of a difficult one, but if you can kind of come up with one of those favorite stories that you tell or you kind of have in your mind, what is that?
Yeah, one of the years, I think it was my last year playing, we, for some reason there was a snafu in the schedule, and we had 4 games in 4 nights. And that was actually against the Players Union's collective bargaining agreement. And I was the Players Association rep at the time, so I had to kind of deal with all the mess that was left. And you know, the Franke family came in to ask us what we wanted to do, and PC Druin decided, I can't remember exactly what he said, but he threw me under the bus and he said something like, well, Boosh said we can do this. And he got, you know, it was kind of comical because it was something that, you know, the players had talked about, but it was like, you know, what we wanted to do, but we hadn't really floated it with the ownership yet. And he kind of just threw me right under the bus.
Okay. What's made you stay in Fort Wayne after you stopped playing?
I think the community embraces the players after they finish playing. You know, obviously the team's been here for so long that they have a long-standing relationship with the community, and I think after the players finish, you know, if they've been playing here for a few years, you begin to make friends outside of the team, outside of hockey, and you know, it's so easy to make a transition into, you know, a different area, and the community's just so welcoming, and you know, they embrace you and tend to take really good care of you post-hockey.
And kind of on that note, what are you up to right now?
I decided to go into the mortgage lending industry, so now I'm a loan officer at Ruoff Home Mortgage, which is a locally started company, and you know, we're in our 30th year now.
If you could pin down one moment, you know, hoisting the trophy or the three-peat, or what's one of those one moments that makes you, you know, that you keep remembering?
I think the first championship we won and the fashion that we won it in. You know, we had been down 3-1 in the series against Port Huron, kind of on the ropes. You know, it was pretty glum in the room, and just, you know, feeling the momentum in the series start to shift. You know, we won one game, and then the second and third, the third one being in triple overtime, and you know, in a game 7, and you can't really write a better script than that.
That's for sure. I was there for that one.
Yeah.
Any least favorite moment that comes out? You know, not quite hitting the playoffs, or one of those years that was really not your favorite.
Yeah. I think probably is the little dust up me and Birdie got in the playoffs that one year, and you know, fans loved to, you know, talk to me about it, and it's just something, you know, I like to forget about, and it's just one of those things, you know, you just want to wipe from your memory. But you know, it ended up actually probably being a bit of a galvanizing moment for us in the playoffs that year.
Last question is if you can kind of sum it up in a sentence or two, what the whole Komet experience has been for you.
Well, you know, I came here having bounced around to a bunch of different organizations, played overseas, and was at a point in my career that, you know, you just wanted a little bit of stability. You wanted to know that you were going to get your paychecks. You know, maybe something a lot of fans don't know is, you know, in minor league hockey, it's not uncommon for, you know, teams to fold or, you know, decide they don't pay your travel home and stuff like that. And it's just, you know, you get to a point after going through the ringer, you want to go to somewhere stable that has a good ownership group. And when I came here, they took very good care of me.
You know, I guess I did miss a question, and I can kind of go on that. What makes this organization different than others?
Well, when I came here, I had a ton of different experiences ranging from really miserable to pretty good. And I'd heard great things about Fort Wayne. I had played here as a visitor. I knew it was a good organization, but you know, I came here and the Franke family, they treated me like a member of their family. It's not too often you can go into an office and everyone knows your name and you know everyone's name in the office. And it's a very family, you know, obviously being a family-run team, it's a family atmosphere in the office, and you know, they took very good care of me.
All right, man, if you don't have anything else to say, I'm done with you.
All right.
Awesome.
Yep.
Appreciate it. All right. Just for the producer or the editor or so, say and spell your first and last name for me.
Len Thornson.
And how do you spell your last name?
Thornson.
What years did you play and what position did you play?
Well, playing in Fort Wayne, I came in 57,
Okay.
and I played through till 69.
Okay. And what positions did you play in?
I was a centerman, number 11.
Okay. Awesome. The first question is, what do you miss most about those playing days?
Well, that's a good question because it became such a habit all the time that you just, you know, the competition. Actually, you used to play against all the people you knew, you grew up with, because they were all with different teams, you know. And it's amazing how many got traded, and you met them a lot of ways around when you started coming back, and guys you played with in junior, here they are playing against you. which is kind of neat.
It is neat. If you could have a favorite story that you tell about your Comet days in a shorter version, what might one of those favorite stories be?
Oh, well, I was very proud one time of having scored on a penalty shot against, I lost my train of thought there.
Oh, you're fine, yeah.
Glenn Ramsey. And we don't get many penalty shots, and that was kind of a neat one, you know. And naturally, the year that we won the championship up in Muskegon, being down 6-1, coming back to win 7-6, that was got to be one of the all-time, everybody's favorite.
For sure. After you were done playing, what made you stay in Fort Wayne?
Well, by the time I got here, my wife at that time, we were starting to have a family, and coming from Winnipeg, which is a big city actually, and coming here was a case of after I finished playing, I'm going to have a business or career in something. And by that time, with the kids going to school, it was a case of going back home to Winnipeg and finding a job or finding something here. And in my case, I had a situation that was supposedly a tragedy. I got hit in the eye and lost the vision in my eye. Well, boom, all of a sudden, I'm going to have to pick up a lunch pail and go to work. Well, probably a week before this happened, I'd met a gentleman that was, I'd never met him before. He was an insurance recruiter and trainer trying to get agents. And he came running over when he heard about this. And eventually he offered me a job, and so I took it. Turned out to be very, very, very good.
Excellent. On the note about, talk about the Komets organization here. It's a unique place, and it's a little different than some of the other organizations and cities. Tell me about what you think makes this organization different than the others.
Well, I grew up in the Montreal Canadian organization, which in the National Hockey League or in hockey is one of the better ones. They treated all of their players, whether they were playing all the time or not playing, 100% just super good. Coming here, Ken Elliott did exactly the same thing. If you ever got hurt or anything ever happened, they were right there and they took care of you. And he also brought players in where we melded together kind of like a family. And we still have, right now, 8 or 10, we all get together every so often and we stay together. And a good group like that, that makes a good team as well as, and that the organization took care of that.
Interesting. Okay. What are you up to now?
Well, I'm an old retired guy trying to play golf, and somehow or other they've made all the yard markers too far away. I can't get to the green anymore. So, but, no, I have fun playing. I never did play very much until that happened, and after the season was over, and so it works out pretty good.
Okay. If you could pinpoint maybe one favorite moment, a hoisting in the cup or a victory or one moment that really sticks out in your mind playing, what's one of those favorite moments that you have?
Well, outside of the one where we won the championship like that, I had maybe a couple of them where I had super good games, for instance, and I had one where I won a scoring championship one night, and actually it happened, was the second last game of the year. I got hit right in the mouth with a puck, good for about 42 stitches, and ordinary circumstances, because it didn't have anything to do with the team playing or not playing, because we were in the playoffs anyway, wouldn't have changed anything. I probably wouldn't have played. But I played because it gave me an opportunity to pick up a couple more points where I would have won a scoring championship, and I did. And I remember that one very clearly, especially the puck in the mouth. They don't taste good.
I bet not. Talk a little bit about your winning year. What year was that, and just a little bit about that year?
Well, back, we had really had some, back then we only were playing with 12, 13 guys, 14 guys. So you pretty well if you're playing with that many guys, you're really playing a lot, and you're playing with all of the guys that are there, and you really get a rhythm as to where they are, where they're not, where you are from them. And that really was a big, big factor in winning it that year, because we had those 2 lines for sure and filled in with the one guy off and on. And it really, really in the end paid off, because we were always playing together, you know.
Okay. Yep. We got just one more question. That's it. Awesome. The last question is, if you can kind of just sum up how the Comet experience has been for you and everything. How do you, or just yes, if you could sum it up in a sentence or two.
Well, there's no question that when you become a Comet and you live here like this, you are a Comet. And I mean, you go to the games and you're out there with every single play, and you're probably being critical in coaching, and you shouldn't, because all you want them to do is to win, you know. And of course the Frankies during there, they have really treated the old guys super good, and that's been a big, big factor. And it means that with all the guys that have come and stayed here, we know them all. There's like some Easterners from Toronto and the Maritimes, and there's some from Vancouver, and so they're all, and then we have a few American kids from, you get to know them all, and that's really kind of neat after having watched them play, you know. So, and funny thing, we're all good friends, you know, just like you thought you knew them. So that's worked out really well.
Excellent. Well, it looks like you're under the demand there.